Yes, I don't know how he does it, but Russell keeps getting me great guests to talk to, and today is no exception. Today we have Jonny McGovern, and he's talking to us from his living room in West Hollywood, California. Come on in, Jonny.
Hi, Amber. How are you?
I'm
Oh,
doing
here I
well,
am.
and there you are. Yes, you are. You are right there. All
Right.
right. Well,
Me big and hairy in the fake woods. Here I am.
yeah, I've had fantasies about things like that. Just to let you know.
Uh-huh.
You-
We're living your bear fantasies today. I got my beard.
oh,
I got my shoulder hair ready for you. It's on.
thank you so much, Jonny. All right, Jonny. You know, I know some things about you, but there's a lot of our viewers from all. We have viewers from all over the country and all over the world, actually. So let's give a little Jonny McGovern primer, if we can. Tell us how you started, and I even found your childhood fascinating. So let's start with that. Where'd you grow up, and what happened?
Well, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Lived there till I was 8. My mom was in charge of Asia and the South Pacific for Planned Parenthood. So when she got promoted to that job, we as a family moved to Thailand. I lived there till I was 13. Then I moved to Egypt, lived there till I was 18. And then I went to college and then moved back to New York. But yeah, I got to travel all around the world thanks to my mom and her great job.
All right. So this was your whole family, or do you have siblings?
I was an only child, but my dad was an artist and an art teacher, so he could kind of pick up and move wherever my mom's job required us to go. So
How
I got to
fast
have a very worldly experience as a teenager and a child.
I could just imagine being, um, well, sort of alone, but also being free to explore and not having being encumbered by Western civilization growing up, the confines that can impose. So you moved back. You went to, where did you go to college?
I went back to Boston University where I went to the acting school there because I that was a school where you didn't have to take all the rest of the regular classes. And I said, "Oh, that's for me." Um, and then once that was finished, I moved to New York and started, hoofing it and trying to audition like a bazillion other people.
When
But it
when you
was,
were in when you were in Thailand and Egypt, did you do any performing, or did you get
oh
develop your
yeah,
career?
yeah.
What did
I
you
was
do
definitely
there?
I was a theater queen even before I came out. I was reading plays. I was obsessed with TV sitcoms. My grandmother would record all the TV shows that I wanted to see on 8-hour VHS tapes, and I would get those shipments twice a year. And then I would watch them because there was no TV that I could watch there. So I would watch them over and over and over and over again, and of course became obsessed with things like Golden Girls, Designing Women, 227, all those sort of 80s, 90s sitcoms became very deep in my heart. And I was living my childhood fantasy of being a teen star. I had a whole other life in my mind where I was a teen star named John McQuinn, and my life was a sitcom based on my part. I had a very, very strong fantasy life, which later helped me when I had to create my own TV shows.
How many languages can you speak living like where you did?
So sad. Only English. I can speak a little bit of Arabic. Shwaya shwaya, ya habibi. I can mostly say asansör bishkoyis, which means the elevator is broken, because it's one thing I said every day in my teen years. Asansör bishkoyis, asansör bishkoyis. I'm like, all right, walk up the stairs.
You mentioned that was before you came out. So when did you come out and tell us that story?
Well, I went to acting school, which was like going to like gay ground zero. But that didn't get me out at first. I spent at least the first 2 years of college being like, "Shut up, I'm straight." Um, and then when I finally did come out, everyone already thought I was gay, so it was kind of like a no big deal. I did tell my parents on Christmas morning as the greatest gift one can ever give. Uh, but my parents are like, hippies. They were in the Peace Corps. at their wedding, they mentioned that they wish their gay friends had the right to marry. So, as far as having to go into coming out to your parents, mine were like they were good.
Yeah,
They were
it's
good
about
with that.
time.
Yeah. They're like, we've seen your room. You had posters of Golden Girls, 227, and Aretha Franklin on your wall. Those were the only ladies on your wall.
You went to New York. What was your first? Tell us about your early days in New York.
In New York, after acting school, you're supposed to do a big show where you do a show for agents. Well, I didn't get an agent from that. So I was like looking through backstage and I started to actually perform one man shows that I had been doing in college at places like the Duplex in the West Village, where you could just like rent it for a night and do the show. And so and that was really like, it was great to not wait around for somebody to give me a part. I was doing what I wanted and playing all these characters. So I started doing shows like that all over the place. And then to promote the shows, I would go to open mics. And that was how I found a place called Surf Reality, which was a Lower East Side, like drug den slash alternative theater slash party space, where they had this open mic that would go like from 8 p.m. till every single person performed. And it was like poets, comics, fire eaters, strippers, the homeless guy from down the street. I mean, it was a very inclusive and weird celebrating of weirdness. And I was one of the only gay guys that was around there. And I was kind of going through my own personal becoming at that moment, kind of discovering nightlife in New York. I had lost a lot of weight and become skinny in college and was feeling my, sexual moans for the first time. And that it was that place being supported by all these people that the characters that eventually became what people knew me for initially, which was the Gay Pimp, that was born at that theater, Surf Reality.
Tell us more about the Gay Pimp. And this would have been around what, the year 2000, the early 2000s?
Yeah, the live version of it was around between 2000 and 2003, and it was like I said, at that time I was discovering myself and really feeling myself and feeling sexy for the first time and feeling empowered and sort of having a lot of outside support after being kind of in my head for many years. So that character came out of that, and I think the show that it was birthed in was a show called The Wrong Fag to Fuck With, which was subtitled The Gay Pimp versus Eminem. And that was right when Eminem had first came out, and he was kind of throwing around like the word fag a lot. And I remember thinking like, God, it's so lame. What can I do? And I was like, I can write a musical about it. That's the best way to protest. So in this, the Gay Pimp was a pop star who sang songs like "Girl, I Fucked Your Boyfriend," "Soccer Practice," things like that. And the show all took place during the MTV Video Music Awards, where they were both nominated. And I think Erica Badu was a character. The Olsen twins were in there. It was a midnight musical that was real dumb and fun and had songs. And it became like a cult hit in New York. And soon we had lines around the block. And that was when people first started to take notice of what I was doing.
How many were in the cast? And did you have an orchestra or band, or what was the music?
There was a band. It was a band called UFO versus the Mothership. And maybe one or two of them actually played instruments. Others of them just like shook stuff and like hit things or hit buttons. Everyone was stoned at this theater. Everyone was having fun. There was probably about 10 people in the cast. The concept of these shows were that all these solo performers would come together and do their characters in these sort of frameworks. So it was half improv show, half like something I imagined that the Cockettes were like back in the day, where when you were there and high, you were like, incredible. But when you were at Carnegie Hall, they were like, what the fuck is this? But I took that, and that became kind of the nugget for the Gay Pimp character. And I started again going around New York promoting the show by performing at gay bars as the Gay Pimp. And the Gay Pimp had sunglasses and a black sleeveless shirt that said Gay Pimp in rhinestones, rhinestone jeans, and was surrounded by drag queen cheerleaders and sexy soccer boy strippers. So I would go thinking that I was like a Britney in sync type and go to the Cock or all these places where you had a tiny little box for a stage. And I would just be like, hit it. Dun-na, dun-na, dun-na. And, and that led to bigger and bigger shows. I eventually did an off-Broadway show called Dirty Gay Teen Pop Superstars, which was all a whole Gay Pimp album. And that's how I met a producer named Richard J. Alexander, who said, kid, what do you want to do? He was very Broadway. He was like, I've worked with them all. Streisand, I've worked with he would work with all the big ladies, but he always had time for supporting the gay arts on the side. And he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to make a music video. So we made a music video for the song Soccer Practice, which was really kind of taking everything that I, as a growing up, thought was not for me, sports, masculinity, straight, icons, and twisting them and making them all about gay sex. So the song Soccer Practice was about gay sex, but twisting it through all these straight and masculine archetypes.
I believe we have a clip for that video. Can you roll that, please, Russell?
Oh, yes. Get ready to see me young. Live.
Jonny, you were hot. You're hot now, but you were hot then, totally different way. So you've had a lifetime of hotness.
I mean, sweetie, that was like a full eating disorder style glamour right there that you can only get in your early 20s. I mean, I remember being thin before I shot it and then going on like a crazy workout plan because I was kind of fat in high school. So this was my moment to get sexy revenge on the world. And you know what's sad? I still thought I was fat in that video. If you're young, you're not fat, okay? You're wasting your time thinking you're fat.
I agree.
You're right. That video, that was before YouTube. So to be honest, we made the video and then we were like, I didn't really think about what was next. But my manager and the producers started servicing it to all the video bars around the country, which was kind of a thing in the early 2000s, where you'd have gay bars that was just constantly playing music videos. And it became like a smash hit. We went #1 on the video club chart. It started playing on MTV Europe, MTV Asia. I did live appearances on Comedy Central. I got a job on the Ricky Lake Show. And I really had like a weird fake career as a pop star for a good another 5 or 6 years after that, because at that time, that song really hit something, because I think what I was feeling about taking back the power of sexuality from the straight world, and sort of, giving a sort of more fierce take on gay sexuality, not as something, oh, please, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you and your dad. You know what I mean? And that was something that a lot of people picked up on, and it became a moment. So I recorded like another 5 albums and did tons more videos, as that sort of gay pimp character. And it was an entryway to a lot of stuff for me. And obviously, in that video, it had all the things that I loved from nightlife, drag queens doing high kicks, go-go boys. Because at that same time, to make money, I was throwing parties in New York City that were really big hits. So I was living like I was having an influencer moment without the drama of having to deal with social media. Uh,
Now, was that the song that was on A Queer as Folk episode? Was that
yeah, it was on Queer as Folk. They had played it on True Blood. I mean, the shit really lasted and stayed around for a long time for me.
all right? We've got lots more to talk to Jonny about, especially what he's doing today. He's developing a reality show with Go-Go Boys. Yes, you're going to hear more about that.